Hi there, that's right, my name is Nick Dutch. Now, I'm doing this video as a response to another video done by a YouTube user called nargargoyle, who did a video which was quite interesting. It was called "Is Religion a Form of Mental Illness?" And I'd like to just sort of like throw my own two cents into the pot, so to speak, so that you can just get my impression upon this subject and where I'm coming from. First and foremost, people, humans, are mentally ill. The very struggles through your day-to-day life, the stresses that you get and you receive will cause problems of a wide variety of different types. If you're poor and struggling, you will become obsessed with money so that you can survive. And yes, you will go slightly mentally ill in that way, just out of pure necessity. There's all kinds of other forms of strains and stresses that can befall you, including in your relationship life, in your social life, in your career life, just a wide variety of different forms of stresses and strains. The human organism is designed to try and adapt to this, often with obsession, the obsession for survival, which can manifest itself in a myriad of different ways. And as a result, different forms of kind of like psychosis can actually develop with reasonable ease. Also, we can end up with obsessions which go back to when we were younger, or misinterpretations of life, which we were either given or we adopted as a result of information which came our way, and that's mixed with some of the various basic instincts for food security, for shelter security, for financial security, for relationship security, sexual security. It can all make the whole thing much more complex. And so, yes, humans in general are mad. Now, in the old days, and I'm talking about a couple of hundred years ago, if my memory serves me correctly of what I read about that time, they had an idea of something called monomania, which was a category of mental illness of the time, obsession with a singular thing. And in some cases, the ideas of religion and religious identity can become part of a form of monomania, and people can become obsessed. But also, don't get me wrong here, people get involved in social groups, and religions are, let's be honest, a form of social group. People get involved in social groups for a wide variety of different reasons. And humans have certain behavioral characteristics. They will try and use their social group for the purposes of gaining work, or getting a new job, or finding a relationship partner. Some people will actually get involved in a social organization purely for the pleasure of disagreement, or to be a bully. And of course, some of that type of behavior is exhibited here in the microcosm of humanity, namely YouTube, as you can see by the various types of content that people put out. Also, some people move into a social group purely for a sense of being appreciated, or a sense of group membership or structure. And all of these are different forms of, I suppose, psychological aberration, because they take the individual away from objectivity and from reasoning. So yes, there is a number of different needs, shall we say, that a religion can fulfill. This can be fulfilled in a very positive way and have some very constructive results, or alternatively it could be fulfilled in a negative way and take a person down a rather negative passage. I mean, some people could actually get involved in a social group for the purposes of trying to change that social group, or indeed to try and create a splinter movement. And that's possibly, and I'm saying possibly here, not certainly, why there are so many different denominations of Christian church, for instance. Because some individuals, because of their needs, have tried to create a splinter movement and separated themselves away from the main currents, or the main core set of beliefs, values, expressions, ceremony, and all the rest of that. I mentioned in, I think it was my previous video, about Christian spiritualism, which is quite an interesting phenomenon, because it might seem self-contradictory, because there's certain passages in the Bible saying that basically don't be a spiritualist. But that's not the way that the Christian spiritualists perceive spiritualism. They see it as being, a gift of God, a gift from nature, and therefore part of learning how to be a better servant of Jesus Christ. It's all rather complex. Nargargoyle did mention an essay by a certain relatively well-known individual on the subject of mysticism and the fact that mysticism can create problems in its own right. Well, yes it can, because and again, as I've mentioned before, the word mysticism appears to have two different meanings. There's one meaning which talks about direct experiential understanding of allegedly supernatural, paranormal or religious things through mind-altering techniques such as prayer, meditation and all the rest of that. And the other interpretation is the analysis of symbology. And the analysis of symbology, whether it's just the planetary symbols or just colours, and what colours mean. For instance, I'm wearing blue, I'm wearing red, I'm wearing black, I'm wearing yellow. These colours within both art as well as occultism have very different meanings. Okay, and trying to get too analytical about this can at times become another variety of monomania, and people become more obsessed with the inner meanings of signs, symbols, colours, and how that could possibly relate to their life, rather than thinking about real life, making sure they've got food on the table, making sure they look after their physical and their material needs, and basically getting their Maslow's, hierarchy of needs completely the wrong way up. There can be problems, but these are problems of humanity, and these are problems of human sanity and human perspective. And so is this really a question of religion itself being a form of mental illness? I would say no. I don't think so. I would say that it's people who've got problems. Admittedly, just as if you go to nearly any university, you'll notice there's a dramatic difference in personality between the lecturers in, let's say, the psychology departments and the lecturers in, let's say, another humanities department, such as history or maybe sociology. Some people tend to gravitate to certain subjects for the purposes of trying to fix a problem that they believe that they have. And religion, because of its promises of healing or repair work of some variety, can become a meeting point, shall we say, of people who've got issues that they wish to overcome. Can religion actually provide a cure? No. But with the help of secular education, as well as spiritual and religious education and a way of life, it is possible that one can try and find some variety of middle ground which can be therapeutic. This is essentially one of my core theses of my own personal, I suppose, ideology. And I feel that there's probably a lot of people out there who would agree with it. Of course, I could be wrong, but all I can do is throw my 2 cents into the pot. So it's people who are mentally ill, and it is religion which is often used by people as a tool to try and fix themselves. And I think we should try and get this in perspective properly. One of the many reasons, and you've probably realized this through watching some of my videos, that I say what I say is because the New Age movement is capable of so much more than just providing people with an alternate religious perspective. It's necessary to make sure that people do actually think carefully about what they're doing and what they're telling other people that they're doing, so as not to muddy the waters or to cause even more problems than is already out there in the world. Okay? Just a quick ramble from Nick Dutch today. I'll bid you good fortune, God and or Goddess and or none of the above bless. Keep cool, stay rational and all that jazz.